Good morning, anybody and everybody. Hey, it's Mike and Arlen. Our Philippine journey. Arlen is on her way to SM. She went shopping yesterday and she has to pick up some pants that she got altered. So, either way, it's been a great week for us. We've had a lot going on. We hope that you're doing well. Those of you that are here, thank you. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Always appreciate subscribers, viewers, even if you're here just to comment. It doesn't matter. We welcome everybody. And we're very welcoming of a lot of different opinions as well. We do believe that YouTube is an open forum. But we also remind people that there are community guidelines that have to be abided by. And we also want to remind people that, there are some areas and topics that we just won't go into. But we'll see what happens. Either way, let's see who's here or who was here. Let's see here. Timmy Dog. As I am just a computer bot, I have no thoughts or opinions on any topic. Have a great conversation and a wonderful day. Well, thank you, Timmy. Thank you. I hope things in Japan are nice. Michael Atos, this is an old operator from an adult spank it line. All right, Michael. Well, we'll keep that in mind. We will certainly keep that in mind. Ricky Lass. Good morning, Ricky. Thanks for joining. Good morning from San Francisco, from Slick Rick. How you doing, Rick? Good to see you. Scott F., good morning, Mike and Arlen. Well, good morning. So, been kind of busy this week. We've covered, we're covering a series of topics. One of those was the contribution between OFWs and tourism to the GDP, not the value, and not the value of one over the other with respect to people's personal opinions, but what brings more dollars or pesos into the country, and quite a bit of different opinions on that. That's for sure. We're also covering gambling this week. In fact, tomorrow's video, and I'm going to have to complain here for just a second. Let me check one more time. But right now, when I go into my YouTube dashboard, my dashboard is so messed up with respect to views and everything else. I've got just the amount of time that it says it's been posted, the number of views, the whole 9 yards. When I go into the actual video itself, when I go into the actual video itself, I get two totally different numbers, sets of numbers. And we didn't expect today's video to do that well, to be honest with you. But, I would have at least liked to have seen some decent numbers. So I don't think the YouTube algorithm system is working right now. So wouldn't be surprised if not many people got notified as to the live stream. Well, let's see who else is here. Scott, we got Ranger for Collectors. Good morning, Ranger. How you doing? It's good to see you. I met up with him a couple of times recently up at Tequila Reef. He's dropped by for breakfast. Howdy from Glendale, Arizona, Pat D. How you doing, Pat? Pat, I actually lived in Glendale for my first house in Phoenix was in Glendale, technically. The first house that we built was in Arrowhead. So, yeah, we're real familiar. And my brother lives in Glendale. So, I hope things are there. I wonder, is should be pretty hot in Glendale right now. Not this morning. Well, it's evening time there, but the overall temperature. My Views, Your World. Hi, everyone from Japan. How you doing, My Views? Thank you for dropping in. Just a Bill, what do you use for your phone plan and two-factor authentication? Okay, Just a Bill. You know, that's actually a great question. And I can't recommend it because it doesn't fit certain people's budgets and lifestyles. But, excuse me, hold on a second. Watch this, the invisible drink. I have a green screen and my cup is green. So what do we use for that? Well, I'll tell you what we do. I have this phone, which is my Filipino phone. It's an iPhone, I don't know, 15, 16, something like that. It's a couple years old, year or two. All right. And then I have this phone, which is I think it's an iPhone 14. It might be a 15. I don't know. I can't remember, but it's older. This phone is, I keep a T-Mobile number. I pay $50 US a month. And for $50 a month, it's a T-Mobile permanently roaming number. So in other words, as long as I have it on, it's roaming. It's active in the Philippines. So if my bank wants to send me two-factor verification, this is the number that they have. If my brokerage wants to send me two-factor verification, if my credit card company wants to send, this works in the Philippines, this works seamlessly in Thailand, and other countries as well. But for some people, they can't afford that. Now, prior to many years ago, we used to use a Google number, and then the bank shut that down and said, we're not doing Google numbers. I had a Skype number. The bank shut that down. They're not doing anything over IP, or at least my bank. It's my understanding there are still banks that do it, but that's what we use. And I will tell you, I'm not as good with it as I should. Like, the battery on this, I'm sure, is dead. It's probably been dead for a day or two. And I'll charge it, but I really and truly only keep it going when I'm expecting stuff or when there's a problem with stuff. Hang on a second. Okay. Arlene letting me know that she's walking out the door, heading to gonna go do grocery store and then SM. So anyways, but that's what we use. And I realize that for some people, they see it as an incredibly wasteful amount of $50 a month. But what we've learned, especially while being on vacation, what we've learned is that the credit card company, my credit card company, is very used to seeing charges here in the Philippines. But even when we put a travel notice in for, say, Thailand, and we're going to Thailand, and I buy something that's $400, $500, $600 in Thailand, it's not uncommon for it to not go through. It's not uncommon even here in the Philippines for my bank, or the bank that the credit card that we use here, to get a little snotty if it's like $1,000 purchase. Like if I'm at when we were building the house, or when we're doing renovations, or we're doing this or that, and we're making major purchases of tile and lumber and cement and gravel and this and that, all in one location, that's not uncommon either. So that's kind of why we use it. It allows, I know that if I'm making a major purchase, I turn it on. That way I'll get that two-factor verification. And my bank is very good, and so is my credit card. We use CitiCard, all right? And we use Wells Fargo amongst that's our primary bank. And we have two other accounts, two other banks. But the CitiCard is real good about sending me an email to let me know that there's a two-factor verification needed. And then sometimes when I have to sort out a problem, which probably happens once, maybe twice a year, sometimes we go a couple years without it happening. You know, I'm on the phone, they're sending me a two-factor verification to verify who I am. Well, I'm on my Philippine phone talking to them on their 800 number, and I'm on my T-Mobile phone getting those verifications, but I could be on the T-Mobile phone as well. So that's what we use. Are there other options? People use Magic Jack. People use other things. We don't have experience with it. That's the experience that we use. I hope that answers your question. If not, elaborate a little bit more. John at My Little Morning. Good morning. Henry Batista. How you doing, Henry? Nice of you to drop in. Haven't seen you in a while. Michael Papliani, are casinos worth going to in the Philippines, or are they money pits? I don't gamble, but I used to be a dealer in Philadelphia and Atlantic City. I dealt blackjack and baccarat. Well, okay, let me give you a little bit of a preview as to the next video. All right, so I'm just going to tell you straight up. In the next video that we put out, Arlen and I went to a 5-star casino right here in Angeles for research purposes, okay? I wanted to observe people. Are they money pits? I guess casinos go bankrupt, but I don't know of any that have gone bankrupt point blank, other than, during pandemic, there were a couple that went bankrupt in the Vegas area because they were in the midst of remodeling or in pandemic. The Fontainebleau strikes my mind as one of them that transpired. But even Circus is still around as far as I know. But are they money pits? Can you spend money? You bet you can. All right. And let me tell you, we do not condone or encourage people to gamble. We do not condone or encourage people to go to casinos, because for most people, going to a casino, you could probably sit at home, get a tin can, light your money on fire, and throw it in that tin can. And that's about the same thing that happens in many people's experiences in casinos. Are they popular? You bet. And you're going to be surprised at some of the observations that we made during the 4.5 hours we spent at the casino the other day. Hillbilly Pyro. How you doing, Hillbilly? How you doing? Drop a like for Mike. Thanks so much. We certainly appreciate it. CBGB, too hot in Vegas. At least it's dry. At least it is dry. Yeah, it's nice. It gets really hot. We would never go to Vegas July and August, but September's tolerable. And June is, it's the beginning. May is the beginning of the really hot part of the year, but winter in Vegas is extraordinary, to be honest with you. Richie Rich Abroad. Hey, Mike, what's good with you? Thanks for dropping into our video premiere. I'm chomping at the bit for this live stream. Love your channel, brother. Thank you, Richie. And for those of you that haven't been to Richie's channel, he's got a beautiful Filipina partner. It's a great channel. Give it a look. Todd M. Hello from Hernando, Mississippi, I think. Is that Missouri or Mississippi? I can't remember how it goes. But either way, I just finished mowing the lawn. Oh, my God, Todd. So you're mowing in the dark or work? Pat says it's 106 today. It's now 100. Just got back from Texas Roadhouse down the street from me on Happy Valley at the 17. Ordered online, got me a smokehouse burger and baked potato to go. Yeah, I'll tell you, we have a Texas Roadhouse here in Angeles at the SM Mall, and it's pretty good in comparison to some other things. But it also depends on what you're looking for. I would say it's about 80%, maybe 90% equivalent to a Texas Roadhouse taste and flavor in the U.S. But it's been a while since we've been to a Texas Roadhouse. Now, which one was that? On Happy Valley. Oh, I remember when they opened that Texas Roadhouse. Happy Valley and the 17 up there near Norterra. Yeah, absolutely. We used to drive right by that. I used to, our house up in Anthem. So, CBGB, 98 degrees in Las Vegas. Wow. It's still warm. Look at Rick rubbing it in. 58 degrees in San Francisco. Henry Batista's back. My views, your world. So Just a Bill, my views, your world is telling Just a Bill. I use Mint Mobile eSIM for two-way factor authorization. I pay $264 for the whole year. I turn on eSIM while on Wi-Fi to get messages. But does that include cellular as well? For instance, I'm on what's called the Magenta plan on T-Mobile. All of my incoming calls from the U.S. are free. There's no fee for those. My outgoing calls are dirt cheap. I can't remember what they are. I don't think I've ever had a T-Mobile bill more than like $70. T-Mobile, now I have a $35 per month text and call only plan, is what Ranger says. Yeah. And I mean, there's all kinds of plans, and you don't have to be in the U.S. to get it. In other words, when I put this out on a T-Mobile phone, I literally went online to T-Mobile, plugged in my information from this phone, and they sent me an eSIM, because I can have two eSIMs on this phone. I can have, I think, 4 eSIMs on this one, but I can have 2 eSIMs on this phone. And in turn, I did the whole thing online from the Philippines. So it didn't even have to be out there. Henry, for all its faults, San Francisco has the best weather in the U.S. It does have incredible weather. 54 degrees in Philadelphia, Michael Papliani. Thanks. International, Ranger says. Alex in Asia. Alex, how are you doing? How is your shoulder doing? Are you getting any better? Do you need anything? We're right up the road from you. Please send me an email, give me your number, whatever. Let me find a way. If you need anything, let us know. I think your brother lives here as well, if I remember correctly. I think. But either way, we're here. Hillbilly Pyro. Oh yeah, Alex just had shoulder surgery in over at Clark, over at Clark Medical Center, TMC. Hillbilly Pyro. Have a good day. Slick Rick, are you from the city? CBGB, are you from the city? Hey, Mike, I had the same T-Mobile plan. Drop your T-Mobile plan down to the 35 plan, and there's no difference. We don't even use enough to justify the $50 joint. I'll take a look at that, Rich. I really will. Always willing to save a few bucks, that's for sure. CBGB says, I don't live in San Francisco, it's too pricey. It is expensive. Henry says, Marina, California is always colder in summer here. Feels like a few days only. Okay. Paul Rogers, hello, Mike and Arlen from a dull, old, boring South Carolina. Do enjoy your channel. The info and your views share are invaluable. Please do keep on, tally ho. Well, thank you, Paul. You know, I will tell you, our channel is a hobby and an outlet for me. Not only do we enjoy putting the information out there, but I enjoy the technical aspect of it as well. So, you know, we're not a big channel and we never will be a big channel, but for a hobby, it helps keep somebody busy. CBGB, I'm from Berkeley, South San Francisco. Nice, but it does get cold in the city. Wow. Yeah, it's good for me. Las Vegas is too hot. Rich, some of us city folks can handle that. California in just a t-shirt and shorts. Isn't that the truth? My magic cup. What can I say? Mike, when you charge any of your devices, laptop, do you use converter? Nope. And I'll tell you why. I have all Apple products. Arlen's laptop is an Apple product. Arlen's phones are Apple iPhones. My phones are Apple. My desktop is an iMac, Apple. All of that. Apple builds a device that it can sell worldwide. It has internal converters. It does fine on 110 or 220, either one. So no, I don't. Now, do we use it for some other stuff? Yes, we use power converters. Like we have a KitchenAid mixer, you know, one of these big KitchenAid mixers. Yeah, we use a converter from that because I brought it from the US. It was super expensive here. It was expensive in the US. It was really expensive here. So we shipped it here in the buying boxes when we moved. And that we plug in to a converter. What else do we plug into a converter? Well, a couple of different things. Mimi and Abel. Good morning, Mimi and Abel. Mimi, Abel, is Mimi? I've seen a couple shorts. Is she expecting? Are you guys getting ready to have a baby in the very near future? Sunset Travel. Morning, Mike. I'm trying to stay out of the casino, but I might for research purposes. I know exactly. We went for research. That's why we went. What more can I say? We went for research. Rich, some of us who are from the city can handle that cold. It's just a pair of shorts. Yep. 6:46 p.m. here. Sun's still up. Okay, Henry. Where are you at, Henry? 6:46. That would put you on the West Coast, I think. Arstel, I lived in Las Vegas for 9 years prior to retiring here. Rarely went to the casinos to gamble. Yeah. You know what? We went to the casinos quite a bit. Before I met Arlen, I went to the casinos quite a bit, and I gambled, let's just call it moderately. But we would go to Vegas for the shows, all right? I have been probably to somewhere between 60 and 80 high-end great shows in Vegas. You know, I've the Stones on tour, Celine Dion when opening week, I had tickets to those. Journey. I mean, the list just goes on and on. The Beatles, Love. Those are just the ones I can remember offhand because they were recent ones. Great shows. Ranger says you and I had the same thought. Marina, California, current is 54. It would be nice to see 54 here. I can't argue with that. So R still says, I've got Tello for my U.S. number. Had to get it when Skype shut down. Got an eSIM and was able to set it up here. I pay $10 a month. But will that work on cellular data? Or do you have to have Wi-Fi? Keep in mind, the T-Mobile works on cellular data or Wi-Fi. or both. So, does Tello work on cellular data? Because that's something we run into in the province where Wi-Fi gets much more limited. Is that a reference to the punk new age venue? New wave, not new age. I like the magic cup, magic act, magic cup, magic jack. I don't know. Slick Rick, Henry, lots of places in the Bay Area gets colder than the city, but people just associate the fog and the city and say it's colder. Okay. Oh, my magic cup. Okay. Love your cup. It's cool. It's totally inadvertent. This cup is part of a spoiled child. That's the best way I can explain it. When my daughter was in high school and she was cheerleading, all of her little cheerleader fans had these water bottles from this unknown company called Hydro Flask. And if you've ever lived in Arizona, all right, you know it is hot. And, you know, we had Yetis and stuff like that. Hydro Flask, my daughter said, Dad, I gotta have one. I gotta have one. It works. And she's right. I bought her a Hydro Flask, which was stupid expensive at that time, to be honest with you. All right. Flask, not a cup. And literally, she put ice in that on her way to school in the morning. She'd go all the way through school, fill it once during school. All right. Fill it again after school with water again. All right. And still would have ice left in that stupid thing by the time she would get home. So I said, gee, this thing's great. I'm going to buy this cup because at the time I had a 48-foot cabin cruiser out on Lake Pleasant. And this fit perfect in my cup holder, and I could make ice. I could drop the anchor, not make ice. I could put ice in it, drop the anchor, make a cocktail, make a soda, make water, and it would last for hours and hours and hours. And I still have it to this day. I bet this Hydro Flask is probably 9 or 10 years old now. Chippy Whiska, hey Chippy. Pro tip, don't plug in a surge protector extension cord from home. Yeah, that might be a problem because they are not set up for 220. Generally speaking, the surge protectors from the U.S. are not set up to routinely be on a 220 line. Michael Atlas, only casino I've been to was Waterfront by the Cebu Airport. It was kind of a joke, reminded me of bingo night at church. I can tell you that we have been to a couple, you know what, y'all have to watch the video because we've been to multiple casinos throughout the Philippines, and we're going to tell you about it. Henry says, Marina, California, 20 minutes away from Salinas. Wow. MS is Mississippi, not Missouri. What about restaurants and show and casinos in the Philippines? Todd, there are some great restaurants in the casinos. In fact, we usually spend Valentine's Day, and a couple of other holidays. We go to the casino restaurants for those, especially at the Marriott. Now, in Manila, Okada has one of the finest restaurants. So, yes, they do. As far as shows go, really and truly, we had a comment about that in our comment section. And in the comment section, they said, well, it's kind of like a joke as far as the shows go and as far as comps. And without giving away too much information on the next video, the shows are generally not going to be, they're not going to be anywhere near Cirque du Soleil or any of the major shows that you see in Vegas. That's for sure. Michael, do you have VIP tickets for the board show? No, I do not. I do not have VIP tickets for them, and I doubt I would get them. Just not my style. Todd, is there a reason you maintain two phones when you could have both numbers on a single phone? Security reasons to keep separate. Very good, Todd. Exactly. This is my Filipino phone. The only financial information on this phone is Gcash. That's it. That is it. Now, this phone, all right, which stays in my safe, when we travel, goes back into the hotel safe unless I know I'm going to need it or anything. That has, and it doesn't have logins, it doesn't have access, but it does have information that says I have a Wells Fargo account, I have a B of A account, I have a Citi Card account, I have a Vanguard account, I have you know what I'm saying? It has specific information. This is the phone I carry all day, every day. The rest of it is quite simply, I never take my T-Mobile phone out and about in Angeles City unless we're going to the mall and I know I'm going to make a major purchase. Like if I'm going to the mall and I'm going to buy a new camera, all right, or I'm going to the mall and I'm going to buy a new lens, or I'm going to the mall and I'm going to buy a new laptop or desktop. Yeah, that's when I take it. When I think that there may be a possibility that the bank will send me a two-factor verification. The magic cup you have is fire. It is interesting, isn't it? It's a big cup, too. It really is. It holds 2 standard-sized bottles of water. Michael says the only flask I use, the one for liquor for the Rolling Stones concert. Concert, I think, not concrete. Tello uses T-Mobile's network in the U.S. I could use Tello with cellular and data roaming, but I don't need it. Yeah, and again, if only because we've had this happen, only because we've had to have this problem, we use this T-Mobile for that two-factor verification. I mean, there's nothing like being stuck in Thailand or in Bali or wherever, all right? And you're making an $1,800 purchase and all of a sudden they shut your credit card down. In fact, well, doesn't matter. Either way, I think you understand what I'm getting at. So, Mike, did I ask before, have you been to Tarlac? Yes, Henry, I've been to Tarlac. I have. We passed through Tarlac, never stayed there. Didn't really, it was just on our way. BT and Betty. How you doing, BT? Again, another vlogger, BT and Betty, building a house out in Mount Riot, and he's showing it to you point by point. Give their channel a look. BT used to be a contractor. He's doing a pretty good job. I sent you a question this morning on your most recent video. How deep did you go with your well? Just a question. Happy Memorial Day to all my fellow veterans on here. Remember our fallen brothers. Absolutely. And to all veterans, happy Memorial Day and a great thank you for your service and sacrifices. That's for sure. Michael, one of the best restaurants in the Philippines I've been to was the buffet at the waterfront by Cebu Airport. Okay. Philly in the Philippines. Good morning, Brian. How are you? I was just watching your video this morning. I think I sent you a comment. I thought it was you know what? I thought it was a great video. And I think you're right. As a standard, simple, small footprint, that Action 4 camera you bought for yourself and you bought another one for Lot, those things just put out beautiful, beautiful images. Good morning, Brian. BT and Betty's Philippine Adventures. Howdy, Brian. Henry Bautista, is that Chase Bank there? No. All right, so I looked into Chase and I looked into Citigroup years ago when I first came here. And Chase and Citigroup here are financial wings, not consumer things. Like, for instance, the first trip I ever took to the Philippines, I had an issue with my Citi card. And we were staying in Makati. We had been to the mall, and on the way to the mall, you would pass right by the Citigroup corporate office, where I didn't know it was a corporate office, but it said Citigroup. And so I said, you know what? I need to go in there and go talk to these people. I got a problem with my credit card. Well, they just told me point blank, you know what? We're sorry. We are Citigroup is strictly commercial here. You're going to have to get a phone and give them a call, and they'll connect you on the consumer end. Checking in, vlogging live from Black Canyon City. How you doing, vlogging wise? Chase has a branch in Manila, but is it a consumer branch, CB? I don't, and I have to be honest, it's been years. And I know that Citigroup sold their commercial business to Union Bank about a year and a half ago. I was under the impression that Chase was also only commercial and didn't handle non-commercial accounts. I mean, is there a Chase Bank there? There's a Chase, not that I know of, but CBGB says he has maybe a little bit more information. James Gilbert, good morning, James. How you doing? Michael, my phone auto spell check gets me every time. It does it to me all the time as well. Thank you, Mike. It's only 50 feet. Then that should clear up pretty quick, BT. You know what? What we did, now we went down 110 feet, I think it was, at our province. But I just wanted, because there had been some old industrial stuff near our house, I wanted to get away from the groundwater. Had we built out in the countryside where nothing had ever been, I would have thought differently. But we went down 110 feet. And honestly, we had to hook a pump up to ours, and we had to pump it for 3 days. Now, we had tons of water, all right, but we had to pump it for 3 days to clear it out. And part of that also is the way they drill here is they pound in, and you know how they did it, boom, 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 into the ground with that pipe, and it's full of mud. It takes a while. So I would encourage you, even with, you put some PVC through it, still a lot of mud, or at least we did. So you've got the steel casing, then we ran a PVC pipe all the way down it, and then we ran a pump for almost 3 days before it cleared up. I mean, really clear. CBGB, Chase Bank in Manila is a private bank, investment only. There you go. That's what I thought. And that's the way the Citigroup Bank was as well when I checked into it. Todd, unrelated question. Do you maintain a U.S. driver's license? If so, do you have to keep insurance? Reason I ask is insurance companies know who is licensed in the household and require insurance. No, Todd. I no longer, I think my U.S. driver's license will expire this year. Now, with that being said, I maintain a Philippines driver's license, and I can still rent a car in the U.S. on a Philippines driver's license. But no, I do not maintain a U.S. driver's license any longer. I just didn't see the reason to do so. I don't maintain a licensed vehicle in the U.S. We can go in, we fly into the U.S., just rent a car for a couple of weeks. And they're happy to do that on our Philippine passports. Michael, a few Philippines banks have branches in LA, New York, and in Hawaii. Might want to set up a bank account before leaving the U.S. And they do. And there are some limitations on that people have reported, but I'm not familiar with it. So I'll have to leave it to people that know better. Rich says, Todd, you can keep your driver's license and not need insurance. However, if you purchase a car, you'll need to maintain insurance on that car. Sure, that totally makes sense, Rich. Thanks, Richie. I was considering keeping a truck in the U.S. to rent RVs when I come back occasionally. Yeah. So, yes, indeed, if for us, it's much more convenient to just rent a car for a couple of weeks or borrow a car. We have friends that have multiple cars, multiple vehicles, and they're happy to loan it to us. Henry, thank you for answering my question. No, that's what we're here for. And keep an eye on the chat, because other people, we have smart subscribers and experienced subscribers. And keep an eye on the chat, because they're answering as well. They may have better answers for sure. So let me try this. All right. If indeed anybody would like to cam up, that is the link. Now, I will tell you that in the past, I've had to change some software issues here. And this is the first time I'm using the interview program since I've made those software changes. So if you want to cam up, click on the link, follow the instructions. If you have a problem, excuse me, if you have a problem, let me know, because that means I still need to tweak a couple of settings. I'm not using StreamYard. I'm trying to get away from using StreamYard, to be honest with you. I think that the resolution and customization in Ecamm is, for Mac users, far superior than StreamYard, unless you're willing to fork out the big bucks and buy that StreamYard Pro plan that's like $100 a month or something like that. I know that I'm not broadcasting in 4K, but I am in high def 1020. And I think Ecamm's going to be 4K soon. I can record all my videos and stuff in Ecamm. Let's see here. So Henry's trying to join. And then let's assign him guest 1. And then we're going to do this. There. Hello, Henry. How are you?
Hey, Mike.
So are you in California right now?
Yeah, in Marina, California.
So what's it like other than nice and cool? I see you're wearing your little hoodie there. You're nice and warm.
I know. It's cold, but I'm used to it.
Uh yeah, I
Nice.
wish I wish you could have some of that cool weather here. That's for sure.
Ah,
So Henry, what are you Philippine? You're Filipino. You have you're a natural born Filipino. Is that correct? Uh-oh. I think I lost Henry's volume here. Can you hear me, Henry? No?
uh,
Hello, Henry.
yeah, hello.
Okay. All right.
Who am I talking to now?
Mike.
Yeah, I'm a Filipino.
Okay. So you're a Filipino, and um, what are you
I
doing
can hear you.
in the US? And there's
I
Richie
can.
Rich is joining us. How you doing, Rich?
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
Nah, same old stuff, just another day. What are you guys up to today?
Uh, Ching took off. She's
Uh,
on a trip, so I'm on my own for 2 or 3
I've
days, and
been
it's gonna
here
be nice.
since 1987. I went back to Philippines 3 times only.
Ah, okay. So where'd Chin go?
She's on a trip to Davao. She's doing a work thing. She just got promoted. She's working on her PhD, so she's going down to Davao and doing some
Delayed
work trip to,
reaction.
to be teaching something. I have no idea, but
Well,
it's good to get away and be on my own for a few days.
congrats. Well, you know what? Why don't you hop on the Genesis bus? Come on up. We'll
I'm
pick you
still
up at
online.
SM. And
When I answer back, it's like delayed.
And
And
that
when I
sounds
say
very
question,
enticing, Mike.
it's
Very
delayed.
enticing.
you're welcome. You're welcome to come up. Um, let's see here. Lots of good questions. Thanks for the information and giving me a different perspective to think about. Yeah. So you changed your T-Mobile account to the $35 plan?
I did. I started off with the same $50 plan as you, but I I called them and I did the rundown where they assessed how much you use, and I didn't even come close to using the $35 one. So I
Oh,
don't know who it was in the comments, but they had the same idea. You won't even use the $35 amount. We just
I
don't use that much.
yeah, I don't. I mean, I got to be honest with you. I bet on average, I might have 15 minutes of talk time a month.
Same
Um,
here. Same
and,
here.
and I go months without a text at all.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I call my family. Mother's Day was the other day, so I have 10 sisters, right? So I had a lot. I got 2 hours of phone calls on Mother's Day, with sisters and friends and all that stuff. But outside of that, I don't. And I talk to my kids at home. But
Okay.
outside of that, I don't use. I'm not on the phone that much to be using $50 worth at all.
You know what? I might take a look at that. That's I was you know what? I was so overjoyed at how easy it was to get the eSIM online from T-Mobile and
It's
activate it.
easy.
It was nothing. I mean, literally, man, they sent me the link. I clicked on it and it was activated just like
That
that.
was it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was it.
it
Really
was
easy.
it was super
Yo, man,
easy.
is your name Richie?
Yeah, that's Richie
Yeah.
Rich.
I like your shirt, man.
Thank you. Thank you. My girlfriend made it. Ching made these shirts for us, and this is, of course, our channel. Mike, I don't want to take all your time for your channel. I appreciate you having me on, and I appreciate the shout out earlier. And you're always welcome to join me on my live stream. I would absolutely love it. You have a standing invitation from me.
Well, let me know. And Rich, if there's anything that we can do to help you or anything like that, let us know. Okay?
You know what you can do for me? We should get together. Seriously, I mean this seriously. Let's get together and work together on a project. We can decide what it is, but let's do something together.
Sure. Anytime.
You
I'm happy
guys
to
are
do
into
that.
spaghetti?
No,
Awesome. Awesome. Sounds good.
yeah, Rich's wife is in Davao right now, but you live in Manila.
Yeah, I'm right smack in the middle of Manila. I'm in Makati.
Okay. And so he's in Makati. And what is it? Your wife has a master's in something. I can't remember what it is.
And by the way, she's not my wife. She's my partner. But
Your partner. I'm sorry.
Yeah. A master's in physical something related
Be
to
back.
kinesiology.
My cat is calling me.
Yeah, something related to kinesiology. It's physical education, something like that. But she's extremely fit.
Extremely fit. So does she chase you around the house with a baseball bat when you're wrong?
You would think so. You would think so. But she lets me know when I'm wrong. That's for sure.
Well, that's good to hear. Well, look, Rich, thanks for joining. I don't want to occupy you forever, but you know what? Yeah. I think we're going to be in Manila, Makati sometime mid to late June. My daughter's flying in, and we're taking her out of the. We're going to be taking her out of the country, but we'll do a day or two shopping, letting her shop in Manila. And I'll see if I can arrange a time for us to sit down and talk about some stuff.
Yeah, Mike, do not come to Makati without. Don't come to Makati without getting a hold of us. Right?
I will.
Lunch is on us. Lunch is on us. We'd love it. Okay.
All right, you guys take care. All right. So anyway, so now Henry.
All right. I think something happened to the sound, so I'll jump off and let you continue your live stream. Thank you so much for having me, okay?
Are you having a trouble with sound?
It could be on my end.
Okay. All right.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Take care.
We'll see you next time.
All right. So we're going to assign.
Oh, what happened? Oh, okay. I'm back, right?
Yeah, you're back now.
Okay.
You're back.
My cat, Savannah, was calling me, asking for food.
So what do you do in Marina? Life insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty much uninsurable.
Okay. Well,
I
stopped doing it
pretty
anyway.
much. Yeah, I'm pretty much uninsurable. That's for sure. So my view is I got everyone of importance to download WhatsApp before I left the state. WhatsApp uses data. You can voice call, video calls. We use voice app. We use WhatsApp. We use Viber. We use Telegram. We use all of that stuff. But the credit card companies and the banks will not, or at least the ones that we deal with in the U.S. My brokerage company, I have to call them on a cell phone or landline. My Citigroup won't do two-factor verification. None of those routine things will work like that. Now, what is interesting is I'll tell you how good it works. So my daughter has
Mike, I may interrupt. I would like to ask you if how much are houses over there?
Oh, it depends on what you're looking for. I mean,
maybe 2-bedroom.
But it depends on, it's just like in the US, location, the quality of the build, the what all you want for. I mean, we've seen people build nice homes for $35,000, $45,000, but they're 2-bedroom, 1 bath, small, on a lot in the middle of nowhere in the province, but they're happy. If you want to live in, say, Pulau Amsak, okay, which is a high-end subdivision here in Angeles City, $250,000, $350,000. If you want to live,
where are you at right now?
we have a condo here in Angeles City, and then we have a home down in Mindanao. You mean where am I physically right now?
Yes.
Physically, I'm in that. What you see behind me, that's a green screen. All right, I'm in my office. Yeah, I'm in my office. We have a 2-bedroom condo, and I'm in my office. Okay, but if you've got the money, you go to Forbes Park. All right,
or Forbes.
Yeah, Forbes Park in Manila. And now you're looking at, starting prices at 2-3 million US. Or you can go to Bel Air, where you can go millions of dollars in US. I mean, I've seen houses in Bel Air going for 9, 10, 12 million US. Okay?
You're in Angeles City right now, so
yeah.
Think,
we're
just 2-bedroom is for 2 people.
All right. So all of it just depends on where you want. I mean, it just ranges because, we learned a long time ago. We learned a lesson. I learned a lesson. Was what I consider simple living is not what somebody else considers simple living. What I consider expensive, somebody else may consider cheap. What I consider cheap, somebody else may. So we got a lot of keyboard warriors. All right. We got a lot of people that just ripped us with comments. Okay. Literally ripped us with comments about, no, that's not the way it is. Something, everything is individual. It's how you want. It's kind of like, people love Nike tennis shoes. Okay. Mm-hmm. I used to love Asics. All right. Or however you spell Asics, ASCIS. All right. Tennis shoes. It's all a personal preference. And I think, I think everything is a personal preference, and those things are going to drive it. I mean, you can buy homes here in a mixed foreigner, mostly Filipino, but mixed foreigner development like Timog. You can buy a 3-bedroom house that's fairly westernized for, $125,000, $200, $150,000. And it's a pretty nice house. Okay. But it all depends on different things. So you can spend, Henry, the one thing you need to do, it's time for you to come back to the Philippines for a couple weeks. Okay. You haven't been, or at least, or a month or whatever, come back and take a look, because I'm going to tell you, what you pay for rent in Marina, California, or what you pay for a house in Marina, California is way beyond what people pay here. Way beyond. All right.
Okay. Sounds good.
So come and take a look for yourself. That's the best way, in our opinion. Opinion.
Thank you.
So let me answer some more of these questions, and we'll catch up with you a little later. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Mike. I'll be back anyway.
Take care, Henry. Bye-bye.
You too.
Okay. So let me catch up here. A couple things. Boom. And then, Hector says, I went to Defense Language Institute at the Presidio in Monterey. Wow. Oh, God, the Presidio is beautiful. Beautiful. Back in the 1980s when Fort Ord was still around. Yeah, I don't know anything about Fort Ord, but I've been to the... Do you know the story about the guy that screwed that whole development of the Presidio, that he actually bought the street at auction from San Francisco? Have you ever heard that story? If not, that is an amazing story. Mike, Richie says, feel free to come on my live stream tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Manila time. Love to have you on and give your channel a nice shout. Thank you, Richie. If Arlen doesn't have too much going on or we don't have anything, absolutely. If we're around, we will. Jim Schaefer, have you used Talk 360? I've used that exclusively to call my bank and other businesses in the States. The rate per minute is very cheap. I can make a lot of calls. But Jim, have you ever had your bank, what's going on here? There we go. I'm sorry. Have you ever, will Talk 360, can they send you a two-factor verification? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Vlog Live, there are many YouTubers doing house tours, search the area, ask for prices are always different. So many variables. Yeah. Vlogging Life's right. Absolutely. Roy G, please come to the Philippines single to look for a place to live. Yeah, you could come married. It doesn't matter. But I mean, most of the guys that I know, I don't know anybody personally that came to the Philippines married or partnered unless they were already married to or partnered to a Filipina. I've yet to see anybody move to the Philippines with some statuesque 5'10" Norwegian blonde. I just haven't seen it happen. But I guess there's a first time for everything. I've used I use Talk 360 app to call businesses in the States, 4 cents per minute. I rarely call the States. It works for me. Everyone has to figure out what works for them. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are a lot of great options for voice over VoIP, VoIP, voice over internet protocol to make calls, but getting that two-factor verification sent to your registered cell phone number. That's the other thing. That's what happens is they want something that's already in their system. Jim says, I haven't asked yet. I've wondered myself. So, I know for a fact that Wells Fargo, when they put my Philippine phone number in, that automatically says no. They're not allowed to send any information, texts, or anything over that. Holy shit. Adventures with Roy. How are you, Roy? Wanted to come by and say hi. Hope you and the wife are there. Well, thank you, Roy. Roy, tell us what's going on with your life. Tell us what's going on. I'm going to put the link back in. There we go. If somebody wants to cam up, call in. Roy, feel free to cam up. Tell us what's going on. We've missed you. I'm still subscribed to you, even though you've been super lazy and have not put out any videos. I hope you're doing well. I really and truly do. That's for sure. Brian says he uses Google Voice is how he calls the U.S. Yeah, we can call the U.S. on Google Voice, but I can't get that two-factor verification. Again, that is what seems to run into the problem. Let me see what's going on here. Just a second. I have to check and see something. 103. Wow, that kind of sucks. Just a second. What's going on here? 123, 3 hours. Okay. All right. So I just checking. I posted a video this morning, and even though I know I had views because I was getting comments, number one, number two, because I viewed it myself, number three, because Arlen viewed it, all right, it would show that my YouTube studio was showing no views. Now, all of a sudden, it's starting to finally show views. So we know at least that's starting to work again. But I got a feeling that video is going to be screwed. Nothing I can do about that. Roy just went silent. Yeah, unfortunately. I hope he's doing okay. I really do. So, Brian, what's on your agenda today? Got anything going on? I know Arlen's got a couple things I got to get done today, but it's going to be a pretty lightweight day. We were thinking about going down. I was thinking about going to the new, Philly will know where this is. It used to be Envy. Now they just finally finished about 6 or 7 months of renovation. It's the Hammer Resto and Bar. And we're thinking about going there and trying it for dinner tonight. Supposedly it opened yesterday. But because I haven't seen Chubbs do a video, and I figured he'd be the first to go down there because it's where he hangs out, it may not, and I'm not going to waste my time going down to Walking Street only to find out the restaurant I want to go to isn't open. So, did you keep real estate in the U.S. or do you? No, I have real estate, and it's in my name and our address. You know, all of our. So how does all that work? You know, Todd, that's actually that's actually a segue into a really reasonable question, and that is how do I get the mail from that? And I'm very fortunate. Everything forwards to my brother and his wife. And my brother and his wife know that there are only 5 things and the rest of the mail is trash. So if it comes from a government office, okay, state or federal. Number 2, if it's from Social Security. Number 3, if it's from my brokerage. Number 4, my bank statements. I don't get paper statements anymore, and then number 5, if it's anything that looks important. The rest of it they just throw away, and then they keep me up to date on it. That's all. But property's in our names. The addresses are still the same. And then in turn, all the mail gets forwarded permanently to my brother. And now we have to renew that forwarding, I think every 8 months or something like that. That has to be renewed. But it works for that works for us. Bruce, I use Google Voice for 2-factor short codes for many banks, credit unions, and many other sites too. Works great. That's all I've been using in Thailand. You know what, Bruce? I can't figure that out. You're not the only person that says that they do that. Yet, if you contact the banks I use, the brokerage houses that I use, they won't do it. They will not use, I give them I had a Google Voice number. I give them a Google Voice number, and they said their system kicks it out. It won't take voiced over internet protocol. So I don't know. I don't know if maybe something changed at some point, because it seems to me the people that have been on it for years, it still works for, but not for the new folks. I don't have a better solution for that. I wish I did, but it just doesn't work for us. I'm glad it works for you, that's for sure. So we're going to put this in. There we go. So there's the link. If you want to jump in, if you want to voice your opinion, if you have a topic you want to talk about, we're open to anything and everybody. That's all there is to it. I have a feeling somebody else, let's see here. I saw everybody dropped like a rock. So, bump, bump, bump. All right. Sorry, I had to check something, so I had to leave you for just a second. Jim says, I use my son's address and his phone number if I need to verify over the phone. They send the verification to him. I get it in real time over. Yeah. And we know other people that do that. And before I got my T-Mobile number, I did that with my brother. Okay. Let me bring in Michael. Assign one and then one. There you go, Michael. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
How you doing?
I'm doing good here. This is for Henry there.
Okay.
So I'm in the same boat Henry is. I'm trying to relocate to the Philippines and buy some property, and it is a complete disaster to try to do it remotely. His best bet, the most legitimate website I've seen for reference point for him to look at is Island Properties in the Philippines. And I sent you the link on that property I found over by Arlen to take a look at. It seems to be a legitimate website. I've never dealt with them, but it gives you a pretty good reference point to what property is selling for in certain regions in the Philippines. But I'm looking down in Mindanao for farmland, and it is all over the board. You can't get a straight answer from anybody. It's on Marketplace, Facebook, whatever. And I ask them, is it buildable land? Yes. Is it on a paved road? Yes. Well, it's like quarter mile off the road through 3 other people's property. Got a permission to get through it. So you don't get a straight answer from anybody. It's people representing friends and family that are trying to sell property, and it's just absolutely a complete debacle.
It is. You know what, Michael? We went through the same thing. All right. We looked at land for online for about a year before we decided. And then I came to this very simple conclusion. I don't deal with anybody but the seller. I won't deal with these marketplace cousins and uncles and aunts and sisters that I'm selling it for them. All right. I wouldn't deal with anything that didn't have a free, an absolute clear title. And I wouldn't deal with anything that wasn't zoned residential. And when I say zoned, that's not the right word. So land comes in agricultural titles and residential titles. And you are severely restricted with agricultural land, which is something we went through when we were looking in Mindanao. Around Kitchenerau, much of that land is titled agricultural, and there are limitations. There are problems with that. You got to go see the property yourself. You got to find out, is it been flooded? Talk to people. How does it get flooded? Is it, Michael, there are just so many. It is ugly. It's just, I feel for you because I know what you're going through right now. And it is just, it's like slapping your head up against the wall.
Well, I don't have an issue moving to the Philippines, and I could pretty much sleep in an outhouse if I had to. But I'm in the process. When I pull the trip, I'm going balls to the wall leaving with my wife, who's a Filipina. And my issue is the Filipinos and Filipinos over there, they don't respect animals that well. And I'm going to bring my 4 or 5 cats with me, and I want to make sure those are protected in an area I can seclude them away from a busy road or the idiots here that throw water on them or whatever else, because they don't respect life in the Philippines. It's cheap there.
Well, all I can do is I can tell you this. Keep a couple of things in mind. Your attorney works for you. You don't just listen to him, ask questions, demand answers, and get it in writing. That's the first issue. The second issue is you can go to the municipality seat, like in Agusan del Norte. All right, you got to go to Butuan, and you can simply walk up to the Register of Deeds and say, I want to see a copy of this deed. And they'll show it to you. And make sure that the deed that they show you is the one that's on file there. Because the deed they show you may not necessarily be the most current deed. Filipinos are very good about taking liens out on property. Number 3, look at the land and try and talk to people. Try and find some Filipinos that will talk to other Filipinos about the history of that land. Does it flood? Is it buildable? All right. What kind of stuff was beside it? Stuff like that. Arlen and I did what normally a title company would do in the U.S. We had to do all that ourselves because I didn't trust my attorney either. I mean, a lot of these attorneys, they're not the most hardworking people in the world. I hate to say that.
I've been through the ring around the Philippines here. This is not my first piece of property I'm trying to buy there. This is technically, it will be the third piece we bought. So I'm kind of in the realm of what's going on here. We bought some property off my wife's grandmother before she died. It was a family home, small lot in a downtown area of the town she came from. And she was still alive. So I was trying to deal with the grandmother. And when everybody found out the rich Americana was trying to buy the family home, all the relatives showed up and demanded, we want extra money. This is our inheritance money. You can't buy it from grandma. The way it went. And my wife to this day has never told me how much I had to pay the bribes to get everybody to sign off on their inheritance to buy the house.
Yeah. And my answer to that would have been kiss my ass. All right. I would have just simply said, you know what? I'm not dealing with it. Not going to deal with it. Not going to have to, you know what? Grandma's house, tell them they can go find a buyer. Tell them, I'm not interested.
Well, my point was I saw what a great opportunity it was coming from the west, location. I saw the potential in the property being right in the outskirts of downtown on a thriving town on the corner of 2 national highways that meet. And it paid off. They built a brand new gas station right across the street and a bunch of 24-hour businesses opened up across the other corner. So it's a prime location for redevelopment. That's what I bought it for.
Well, I wish you the best of luck with it, Michael. I really and truly do. I just, I don't know. For me, I don't look at, and I guess that's probably my shortcoming. I don't look at it as investment building material. You know what I'm saying? I'm not familiar enough with that to do anything with it. I just look at it like, you know what? Here's a house for my wife when I'm gone. All right. Here's a condo for my wife when I'm gone. But as far as appreciation, the one thing I can tell you is what we've seen is land and property and homes that are for sale for 10 years and never budge. So I mean, you got very fortunate, obviously, and you knew what you were doing, obviously. So it worked out great.
Well, we got one other 500 square meter lot behind the big resort in town that her sister bought years ago. And she basically gave it to us because we've been supporting her for the last 10, 15 years since we've been together. And I told my wife, I said, I'd like to build an apartment complex on there, 6-unit. And it's never been gone through the process. It's still kind of on the mother title land. There's like 5 lots they broke off of this and everything. I'm like, well, that's a useless 500 meters, whatever lot. I said, I've never even built a dog kennel on it.
Yeah, I've heard horror stories about mother title land. I know it can be done. I know that people do it, but I've heard it's a very difficult proposition.
And one of the people here that needs to sign off on the property to get done is in Dallas, Texas. I'm like, we're still in the United States. My brother lives in Dallas. I told my wife, let's just go get the paperwork signed off on. We'll take care of it. And while we're here in the U.S., and it's no big deal, and I can't get anybody to give me the name, the person, where they're at, who to contact, or where it's at. And it's like, I'm just writing that piece of property off.
Yeah, I would. Let me answer a couple of these. Brian says, boots on the ground if you want to buy property. It's the only way. Yep. Bruce Davis. Hey, Bruce. Thanks for dropping in. Slip brick. Big Boss Herbie. Yeah, you got to have eyes on it. CBGB. It seems like buying property in the Philippines is filled with landmines. It's filled with landmines and zombies. I mean, it's just like, quite honestly, it's out of a chapter of The Walking Dead, I think. I would never buy remotely. I remember a Minnesota story of a couple bought a house on the internet not knowing a rendering plant was a mile away and smelled crazy. Can't smell on the internet. Well, that's a solid point. Pina Home, glutens for punishment. Enjoy buying. Gluttons for punishment. Enjoy buying land in the Philippines. Let's see here. Paul, Mike, the thing is we have health insurance that I believe meets the gold standard here in the U.S., but not sure how it works in Angeles. Philly did a video and said his insurance worked. Some of it does. You know what? Here's an interesting thing. I think Brian has the same thing that my buddy Scott has. Brian, if you're still around, he has Blue Cross Blue Shield Global, okay, which covers international. My buddy just went to medical center, Clark Medical Center. His wife had a baby, C-section, everything's good, everything's great. And they told him, no, we will no longer file that for you. We quit doing that. We quit filing Blue Cross Blue Shield Global. But he filed it, and literally Blue Cross Blue Shield Global paid him back in like 7 days. Big Boss, did you catch the game? Pacers are up 2-0. Yes, indeed. Richie Rich says, yep, you got to get over here and see with your own eyes. You know, don't trust what other sellers say. Make sure the property has a residential title. Yep. Katsu, Bruce. I'm skipping the hellos. Part 2. Sorry, I ran out of space. Philly says it sure worked in Angeles, but not sure how to check mine. Any thoughts? You can send an email to the Medical Center Clark and to AUF. That would be it. You could Google both of them, get their information, email, and send them an email. Well, I would do that, and I would contact the insurance carrier. Brewmeister, Brew, thanks for dropping in. Brewmeister's been with us since almost the very beginning. Richie, you should not buy here without coming here first. Get an attorney to represent you. Absolutely. Paul, call your insurance company. Yep. Big Boss, I was sleeping on India. They are nice. Great NBA playoffs this year. Okay. Donnie B. Good morning, Mike and Arlen. Finally got to see you live. Hi, Donnie. Thanks. Welcome to the channel. Big Boss, I hear you. GSW lost when Curry hurt his hamstring. Oh, look at that. Man, my wife has my daughter, she has a Great Dane and a cat. So she has a Great Dane puppy. He's about 15 weeks now, weighs 80 pounds, and an 8-year-old cat that's mean as snot. And I'm going to tell you, the two of them still have not learned. The puppy just wants to play, and the cat just don't want anything to do with the dog. And I think the cat still wins every time. So, all right. So anyways, all right. So Michael, I'm going to get going here back to the main screen and answer some more of the comments. Thanks for joining, and I'll talk to you a little later.
All right. Thanks. See you.
Bye. So there we go. So what else is going on, folks? What else do you guys want to talk about? And why do I have, wonder why I have multiple, I don't know why I had that. Okay. So folks, anything else you guys would like to question, ask questions, comment, or anything like that? I'll put this link up one more time and we'll wait a couple of minutes. And if anybody else wants to cam up and discuss stuff, then let me know. Come on, we're open to, criticism, comments, accolades, whatever you want. I mean, if you're happy to see us, that's great. If you think we're a terrible channel, well, don't feel bad. You aren't the only one, that's for sure. So what else is going on? Bump, bump, bump. My magic cup here. There we go. So, all right. Well, look, folks, I want to thank everybody for watching. Please do, if you're out there and you're just like lurking, please do subscribe. Hit the thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. We really do. And we want to wish each and every one of you a very, very happy, healthy day. Thanks so much. Take care.